The next one is consider the following states. Okay, here Jhansi, Awadh, Hyderabad. How many of the above were annexed by the British under the Doctrine of Lapse? Now we know Doctrine of Lapse, it was brought by whom? It was brought by Dalhousie. He had come during the time period of 1848. Okay, and he was there during the time period till 1856. Okay, so during his tenure, he is going to bring the concept of Doctrine of Lapse. Now when he brings that concept, he is going to annex the states that does not have a legal heir. Okay, that is the bloodline child. Okay, so here did he annex Jhansi, Awadh or Hyderabad from that? Now this is a very probable option that the UPSC generally gives. So here what do we understand is that these particular people, okay, okay, the Doctrine of Lapse, it is going to be taken, it is going to take what? Jhansi. You are very much well aware that 1857 revolt, it was done by Rani Lakshmi Bai. Why? Because of Doctrine of Lapse, her empire was taken. So this is there. But when you talk about Awadh, if you recall the political issues that were there at that point of time, so Awadh was annexed by him on the aspect of misgovernance by the Nawab. So Awadh was not taken under Doctrine of Lapse but misgovernance. So eliminate two. Hyderabad, it had accepted subsidiary alliance in the initial stage itself. So even Hyderabad is not going to be the option. This was an easy question. So here the option, it is only going to be one. Okay, that is only Jhansi was the thing. The next one is with reference to the Anglo-Mysore and Anglo-Maratha conflicts, consider the following statements. Here they have given three dimensions, three statements, and conflict, key outcome and final result. And here we have to find that from this, which one of the following is correctly matched. We need to find that from this, which one of the following is correctly matched. So what do you think is going to be the answer here? What do you think is the answer here? Okay, so here what can we understand is that here in the answers, just look at it. If you might have recalled the Anglo-Mysore and the Anglo-Maratha Wars, you can understand that the Mysore Wars, there were 4 Mysore Wars, and the Maratha Wars, there were 3 Maratha Wars that were fought. So when we talk about the 4th Anglo-Mysore War, when was it fought? It was fought in the time period of 1799. Okay, and it was generally about 18 days. Now, in this particular battle, Tipu Sultan was killed in the battle of Seringapatam, alright, and Mysore was placed under the Vadiyas, alright. So, let us see. Then there is the, the first Anglo-Maratha War. It was started in 1775 and it ended with the Treaty of Salbai in 1882, and there was no clear victor. Okay, this is there. Then the third Anglo-Maratha War, the Peshwa was reinstated with British support and Maratha Confederacy regained power. So what do you think? The third Anglo-Maratha War, which ended in 1818, here the Peshwahiship, it was abolished, and the Nana Sahib, okay, the Nana Sahib the second, okay, the Peshwa, he was exiled to Bithur. Okay, so this statement is incorrect. So here which one have to be find? This statement is correct, okay, and even this statement is going to be correct. All right, so here when we talk on the answer, okay, so the answer, it is going to be in this particular aspect, it is going to be the, okay, 1 and 2. All right, so both are going to be correct. Then when we move to the next statement, what can we understand here? Consider the following pairs. That means they have told that there is one tribal group, and the second, there is going to be the colonial interaction. That how did this tribal group interact with the colonial level? Okay, that is what we need to understand here. Now, what can we understand here is that the Paharis, okay, then the Santhals, and then the Bhils. The Paharis, they practiced settled agriculture, Santhals cleared forest for cultivation, and Bhils led the Blue Revolution. Okay, Blue Revolution, it can also be called as Neel Bidroh. Okay, the blue revolution. Which one do you think is going to be correct? So here when you are going to look at this, so what can we understand? Paharis. Just go with the name Paharis. What do you understand from the Paharis? So Paharis, they are the people who reside on the mountain. Why? Because mountain, it is generally in the Hindi, it is known as Pahadi. Pahadi, that means mountain, and the people residing on the mountain, they are known as Paharis. Now, on the Paharis during the British rule, did the people, where there was forest, dense vegetation and all, did these people who resided as a Pahari, did these people, you know, um, uh, do settled agriculture at that point of time? What do you think? That would these people have done settled agriculture at that point of time? Obviously not, because they were the Pahadi people, so they would have done the various, they would have done at that point of time the various movement and agriculture, that means shifting cultivation, because the people who reside on the mountains, they generally did shifting cultivation at that point of time, not settled, because settled agriculture, it generally happened where? On the plains. So here that was the logic. Okay, when we talk about Santhals were what? They were tribes. Here what they are talking? Tribal group. So were the any tribal group, were Paharis, who were a tribal group, were they residing at one particular location? No, they were moving from one place to another. So when they are moving from one place to another, obviously they would also be doing shifting cultivation, right? So here what you can do is you can eliminate the first one. Then Santhals, they cleared forest for cultivation. So that means shifting cultivation. Yes, because they were a tribal group. Now Bhil led the blue revolution. That means kind of the Nil Bidro. If you might be aware about the Nil Bidro, it is going to be where? It is going to be in the UP area, in the North India. Whereas Bhils, they were a part of Central India. If you know about the Bhil tribal community, it is one of the biggest tribal community that is there in India. That means in the Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat area, they are very much there. Okay, so they were a tribal community. So why would they lead a revolution that is associated with blue rebellion? Okay, so two are incorrect. The answer here, it is going to be only A. So this is how you need to think and you need to solve it. The next one is, consider the following statements associated with indigo cultivation. Now you are very much well aware that what is indigo and how was indigo generally cultivated. Now when we are aware about how was indigo cultivated at that point of time, so what do we understand here? That the cultivation of indigo, okay, the cultivation of indigo, it was associated with which of the following systems? Okay, Nij system, okay, we do not know that. Ryoti system, okay, we do not know that. Zamindari system, okay. Mahalwari system, okay. And Ryotwari system, okay. So what do we know here? That how many of the above were actually used for indigo production? So they are asking that from this, how many were used for indigo production? Okay. So here, when we look at this, what is Zamindari system? What is Mahalwari system? And what is Ryotwari system? Now these were the revenue settlements that were started by the British. The Zamindari was introduced by Cornwallis, okay. Then Mahalwari, it was introduced in 1822 by Holt Mackenzie, and Ryotwari in 1820 by him, and this was in 1793 by Cornwallis. Okay, and this was in 1820 Ryotwari by Thomas Munro. So these were what? These were revenue settlements which the Britishers had brought. Okay, then when we are removing the three options, okay, so how many of the following of the above are correct? So only three? No, three are eliminated. From the five, three are eliminated, only two remain. Okay, so only three will be eliminated, only four, and all the five will be eliminated. You will be left with only two. Even if you do not know these systems, this is how you could have eliminated. Okay, so the Nij system and the Ryoti systems, they were the, they were the things through which it was generally cultivated.